Good morning and welcome to my channel. This will be part 2 of the 2021 COVID relief bill and getting up to 15 months of your back rent. First clarification I want to make is not only can the tenant apply to get up to 15 months of the back rent, if you are a landlord and you have a tenant that's not cooperating, then you can apply for them, okay? Just to make that clear. Number 2, not every organization, city, and county is going to administer funds equally, which means some little charities only get a little bit of money, and thus they'll only give out a little bit of money to you to pay rent, maybe only a couple of $100s over several months. If you don't know where to go, what the rules are, what the code or federal policies are for these things, then what you're going to end up doing is you apply for a federal program through some little random charity, and then you will not be able to reapply again for more money somewhere else. So my suggestion is you get it right the first time. The third thing I'd like to tell you is, like with any application, you have to have the correct answers. You know, if your answers are off or you're making more than, $1 more than what they're asking for, it can exempt you from the program. Again, if you haven't read several hundred pages of federal policy and understand how these things work, then you're going to be in trouble. So that is what distinguishes myself in this channel, and the advice that I'm getting is, I'm not a bobbing head on YouTube, okay? I've actually read the code, federal code. I understand how the law is written. I understand where you have to go in the country. In fact, I have an Excel sheet that is 574 pages. It covers every single place that you could potentially get rent. And it also covers a lot of places that you don't want to fool with. So let me give you guys some advice. Before you go and take a bunch of advice from different people that are a craft channel or a children's channel and stuff like that have now become an expert in getting rent, you might want to consider hiring a professional like me that understands how this works, where you need to go, and how the funds are actually administered. Otherwise, you're just taking random advice from random people that are trying to earn nickels and dimes on a YouTube channel. Okay, so I have nothing against that. I'm just saying that you only get 2 opportunities. As we all know, the Trump administration issued and gave out $25 billion. That is being started to roll out right now. You only get 1 opportunity. And, a lot of you guys are sitting there and you're having to think about it. Well, let me have a cup of coffee. I'll mow the lawn. Let me put that on my calendar. I'll get to it next week. Let me give you some very, very important advice about that. Don't do that. Okay? There are millions of people that need the rent. And so what's going to happen is, while you're thinking about it, is the funding will evaporate for your city. Okay? It could, sometimes the funding can evaporate within days. So by the time you've sat there and you've thought about it, there'll be nothing to apply for. Number 2, the second round for $30 billion through Mr. Biden, which will be rolling out very shortly after this. Same thing. If you're going to sit there and you're going to watch TV and play games, here's the deal. You'll simply get nothing for your rent. All right. So I'm going to impress upon you that you must react quickly when this stuff happens. If you react even late, so say that you're able to apply, you're managed to find the right place, you understand your rights, you understand the letter of the law and how these things work. But you know what? You were one of those people that decided, well, I'll put it on my calendar, I'll get to it next week. Now you're at the end of a long line. So all they have is pocket change left for you. There's a lot of ways that this can go wrong for you, okay? I don't care how people how the talking and bobbing heads on YouTube want to tell you to do things. There's only one way that's prescribed by federal law for all this stuff to happen. States and cities apply, along with organizations and nonprofits, and you either give the right answers on the application and know where to go, or you don't. Okay, so I'm not trying to be too stern, but I think that these opportunities of $25 billion and $30 billion to help you with rent, and also rent going forward through 2021, are only going to have once or twice, and probably in the next 10 or 20 years. So you better be sure. If you're not sure, hire a consultant. So with all that being said, I want to show you what happens when things go terribly wrong. I've got people that are DIY. Let me just do it myself. It's cheaper. Why in God's name would I ever pay a consultant $40 or $80 to help me with this? And then they end up with basically, a coupon book to McDonald's and $100 in rent. That's your fault when you do that, okay? Because the reality of it is, anything that's ever written through legislation, through Congress, or the federal government, or even through an administration like a president, you can bet that there's a lot of things that are convoluted that are built into these things. So if you don't have a really good and fine understanding of that, you'll just get burned, okay? Now, So back to what I was saying, let's take a look here. And so I want to show you something. I'm going to go ahead and plus size this real quick. Here's an example of what happens. So let's say you live in California and there's 100 different nonprofits and charities in the city and all these different places all offering funding. First thing you should know is not all of these places are going to get equal amount of funding. A small little charity would rather service 1,000 people and give them all $1 than to actually pay a real amount of rent. You see how that would work out for you? So you go over and you call the Salvation Army, can I get some rental assistance? So they issue some federal funds to you. They cut you a little old check for $100, and then guess what you've just done? You've accepted the federal funds. Now you can no longer reapply. So you completely vacated the other opportunity to get 14 months of rent. So you ask yourself, do you really want to play the game? Okay. Now I want you to take a look here. So I've been looking at Montgomery County. So, another thing, these nonprofits and other organizations that you may end up calling and trying to get this funding from, if it's not a good one, they can limit things. They may require you to live in the county. They can put all kinds of unusual rules. Remember, you're at the mercy of whatever rules they want to invent on top of the federal law. Again, if you don't know where to go, if you don't know how to handle this stuff, hire a consultant. But beyond all that, one thing you're going to notice as you go down the page, besides all them articulating all their rules, here's the deal. Each household is eligible for up to $500 per month for a maximum of 3 months of $1,500, okay? So basically what they're saying for this little place is, your maximum benefit will never be greater than $1,500. This is a complete and utter waste of time through that county. You understand that? If the minute you accept that money, you just forfeited your chance to go and get the rest of your money. So, I've already warned you guys. So it depends on whether or not you're going to listen or not, okay? Now, the other thing I want to show you is, again, the difference between bobbing heads on YouTube trying to make nickels and pennies and dimes for revenue. It's somebody that understands on a professional level how these things work. Here it is. Simple as that. This is a NLIHC COVID-19 rental assistance database, okay? If you look down, it's over 570 pages. It covers every known place and where to get this. Just because I have a list, that doesn't really mean so much. But what does mean something is you've got to know where on the list and which one of these are going to be the ones that would give you up to 15 months of background. So you have to make a decision. Will you spend today scrolling around watching bobbing heads on YouTube, or will you take some professional advice and take it seriously? Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you is, look, on January 12th, that was the final application date. So the funding is now actually reaching cities. So if it hasn't reached your city, it's going to happen in days, if not a week. You've got, from the minute they slam that stuff on their website, you have probably just a few days to jump in there, get the money, and then get out, okay? Because they will run out of money. So I'm going to warn you for the 15th time in this video that if you don't react, it's over with, okay, for you. You won't get it. You'll get a second opportunity under Biden's plan for the $30 billion. And again, you have no time to think about it. You simply need to get out. You have to get that application in. You got to have everything right. And then that's it. And the game is up. And it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're a landlord or a tenant. So I have to be stern, people, because I don't think a lot of you really understand. And with all the misinformation and all the crazy people on the internet just posting all kinds of bullshit out there, that have no factual basis, you guys, you really are you're being led. You're being led in so many directions. It's almost delusional. So, all right, look, I've enjoyed talking with you, and this is a serious topic for serious people. And, I'm out here if you need my help, or there's other consultants out there that can help you as well. Or if you're a DIY person, I suggest you figure it out very quickly. So with all that being said, it's been wonderful talking to you, and I hope you have a great morning. Goodbye.